broadcasting around the world. This is the Hard Asset Money Show. Your wealth, your money, your future. Serious talk about what's happening and how you profit. Hosted by Christian Briggs. Follow him on X at BMC_HAM. Live in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, joining me now, I've got Economist Christian Briggs with me. Christian, happy Friday to you. Trump's tariffs have officially been in place for 24 hours now. What were your big takeaways from day one and any major shifts that you're tracking right now?
Well, thanks for having me on the show, and it's a great topic. Yeah, so I've seen some dynamic shifts in the original theory of what Trump was trying to do was to get a competitive landscaping and really to try to get trade partners that were going to be fair and equitable in every way in which we negotiate these, whether it's the manufacturing side from heavy industry all the way to light industry. I like the way it's going. Now, I will say that for some people have become a little more impatient and anxious, but these are tough negotiations with tough countries, and they are pretty much run by people of which that take this standpoint that America is trying to bully them into a deal. That's not the case here. Trump is doing very methodical and surgical, and I consider this to be very tactical. The elephant in the room, though, is China. You brought that up earlier in the program. China is going to be something a little bit more than just an everyday negotiations. And let me explain why in more of a statistical, mathematical detail.
And also where you expect that deal to land, Christian.
Well, I expect it to land at some point, but remember, go back 20 years ago. China was a $5 trillion economy. Let's fast forward. Now they're a $22 trillion economy. We're a $30 trillion economy. And remember, China has the BRICS nations as kind of their coalition, kind of that unity of strength, kind of the way China thinks. So they're negotiating not just for themselves, but for other countries are following the lead on China. Mm-hmm. Now, Europe has obviously cut a deal, and a good deal for us. I love the European deal. That's the best one so far, I believe. And Japan is coming to the table, but China is definitely going to be something to be a little bit more patient with. But I know for a fact that when Donald J. Trump negotiates a deal, he's going to negotiate something that's going to favor America.
And let's talk about just how this might impact everyday Americans, because I think that's what most people at home just want to know, right? Because the warnings do keep coming on this tariffs in terms of prices that we're going to pay. The New York Times saying, quote, consumers may soon notice higher prices on everything from sneakers to bananas, as well as the cost of the new car. McDonald's CEO recently warned that lower income consumers were making fewer stops there. What do you think lies ahead, just in terms of the prices that we pay for everyday goods and essentials?
Well, that's a really good point. So let's talk about that. It is a little bit of a burden. It is an inflationary pressure on that bottom half of America. I'm not going to kid you. I visited the grocery store just for myself. I was shocked at some of the grocery prices and as well as some of the other merchandise that had taken such a drastic increase in offsetting the tariffs. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. We're going to have an economic plan that when Donald J. Trump and the administration puts the 401 in what I consider to be on steroids, $12 trillion is going to be influxed into this economy. You made a really good point. Sometimes people have been kind of shut out of the alternative investments, more of the higher return investments. That's going to be a supercharger for the economy. Think about it. $12.5 trillion is going to be injected into the economy through retirement accounts.
And how long will that take? Like when you say end of the day, it's obvious, we wish it were the end of the day. We wish it were end of business today before the weekend started, but that's not reality. So what's the timeline we can expect on that money to flow in and for us to feel like prices have been alleviated from where they are now?
Well, again, a good question. It's going to take about 12 to 18 months for a lot of the things that are happening today to come to fruition, to actually feel it. You're going to see it in the next 6 to 12 months. You're going to feel it in the next 12 to 18 months. I've said this before earlier this year when Trump was elected and these tariffs were starting to be negotiated. I said, listen, and I've told this to many, many people around the world, and I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. It is a short-term pain, but it will be a substantially long-term gain for the American people. There will be some sacrifices, but Trump just came out in the last couple of weeks talking about lowering taxes or even eliminating taxes on people making somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000 a year. That would be incredible. And I do believe he's trying to work something out like that. But going back to your original point and your question, it is going to take time and it is going to be a little bit of a hardship, especially on some of the lower income. I know this because I've done the numbers. But at the end of the day, what is good for the country long term will be good for everybody. But it will take a little bit of time.
Throw in a good cliche. Rome wasn't built in a day, I guess. We'll see. We'll watch and wait. Christian Briggs, thank you so much as always. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Gold has nearly doubled in just 5 years, rising from $1,700 an ounce in 2020 to over $3,300 today. That's a 95% gain, outperforming the market and proving why gold is the ultimate long-term hedge. As global debt soars and currencies weaken, central banks are hoarding gold at record pace. Why aren't you? At Hard Asset Management, we offer award-winning service and fast, secure delivery. Call 844-426-4653 or visit bmcham.com. Protect your future with real assets. Own gold now. Follow on X at BMC_HAM for all news and the latest developments.